Today is day 25. You are moving right along. We really have an eye towards the climax today. We are looking at it. We are preparing for it. We are getting all of our ducks in a row. I like to say I'm getting my dominoes set up. Because once we start the action of the climax, and that's not for a little bit, it's going to be like knocking over dominoes. It needs to happen quick and fast and sharp and exact when we get there. So now we're just making sure that we have everything that we need. We may be having some skirmishes with some minor bosses. Now they should be bigger than the minor bosses that led up to the tent pole. We may be struggling to get to the climax site. We may be fighting a completely different battle than we thought we were going to be fighting. And then the villain ends up showing up. There are, again, a million ways to do this. It's up to you. However, at this point, the villain or the villain's proxy should be really poking and harassing the hero, because very shortly in a few we're going to have the hero's going to assume the mantle of the hero, and that's going to be during one of these skirmishes before the climax. And the absolutely most clear indication of that is the Matrix, when he turns and two-fingered, come on, let's do this, he decides not to run. That is when he takes on the mantle of hero. Now, he is not a hero of lore, because there's a lot of things that have to go in to being a hero of lore. But the hero has to pick up the mantle and put it on. That has to happen. And we're a few days from that, but we're working towards that. So be thinking about an action scene where we can really see this hero shed his insecurities, shed his concerns, shed his denial that he's a hero, and really step forward and be a hero. Unabashedly and unapologetically be a hero. That's a few days off, but you have to build to it. We should be building right now towards that event. The mechanics of the climax need to be considered. We need to know what we need. What props do we need? What weapons do we need? What people do we need? What landscape do we need? What time of day do we need? Because maybe you have this brilliant climax at night, at midnight, the midnight sun, but we're at 2 o'clock right now, right? And you thought it was going to be pretty linear going from here to the midnight sun, beautiful action sequence. So we need to make sure that we are on the right planet, that we're at the right time frame, that everything is happening. Even Fault of Our Stars, there's a pacing issue. And again, this is a major spoiler if you haven't seen it, so sorry. Because the love interest dies in the end. And so it was well paced from his being diagnosed to being hopeful maybe he could beat it, to going through his chemo, to getting weaker and weaker, to kind of their last time together, to her finding out that he died. So again, that would have been weird if he was diagnosed and he died. Or he was diagnosed and then we meandered forever before he died. Or we didn't know if he died, he was just super sick. That would have been weird, right? So there's a pacing issue here. We need to kind of know what the climax is so we know how much time to spend in between to get there. And this may be something you're struggling with and don't do well with on this book. It is very difficult pacing, and it just came to me. That's just one of my gifts. It was an easy thing. Trust me, there's tons of things that are hard for me. But pacing was easy, but that's unusual. Pacing is usually a difficult thing for people to learn and to do it. So just do the best that you can. And then you're going to realize, and I do it sometimes, I'm like, crap, this is going on forever. Where's the climax? The book won't end. But you'll figure it out. You'll see what worked and what didn't work, and we'll smooth it out. If you stumble too quickly into your climax, then we'll go back and do some set building scenes. If you take too long, we'll go and cut those out so we're properly paced to get. And this is why I love structures, because structure helps you stay in the ballpark of where your story should be. So right now, building towards the climax, making sure we have everything that we need for the climax. The hero is growing, probably the most growth that we've seen from the hero. He may still be a little bit whiny and pushy, but very shortly, and we have to have us prepared for that. We can't just have him suddenly go, I'm a hero, come on, Agent Smith, come and fight me. We have to prepare him for that moment to take on the mantle, and it's a really pretty red velvet cape. I think it's very Thor-ish. We are ready for that, and it makes sense. It doesn't seem just, magical kind of thing, that it happened for a reason, it happened for a reason at a specific time, and that it makes sense, and that even though he's the hero, he doesn't win. Remember, he gets his ass beat until he is on his knees at the darkest moment. We're ways away from that. What we're doing is building up the hero's confidence so that he can take on the mantle's hero, because he has to take on that mantle so that he can move through the process of becoming not just a hero, but a hero of lore. And we just want to be sure to make up. So today is a lot of maybe thinking day. I want you to write still. I want you to write these 5 pages. But I do want you to be thinking, and certainly tonight, be thinking of your climax. Because, of course, the whole entire book, why we spent all these weeks writing it, why our readers spent all these nights reading it, is the climax. So this is something we want to meditate on. Think about what could be cooler. What is the awesomeness? What's our genre? Remember, this is genre. The climax is genre driven. So we want to make sure that the climax meets our genre's criteria for awesomeness. So if you're in a romance, that is usually the couple getting back together. That's the big climax. It is while we were sleeping. It is the wedding where she admits that she loves the other brother. It is that. So no matter what your genre is, it is the fulfillment of the genre. It is the hero becoming the hero of lore. They have taken on the mantle. They have received help. They have been humbled. And now they can beat the villain. And while you're sleeping, the villain actually is the truth, which is kind of funny. But she finally ends up telling the truth and breaking free of all of her lies. So no matter your genre, your climax has to be a climax. It has to be big. It has to be huge. It has to be stunning. It has to capture the imagination and take me away and sweep me off my feet. And no, I don't want to give you too much pressure, but that is the reality of the climax. And I want you to start thinking about that now so that by the time we get there, you've got it down cold. All right. That was day 25. We are moving on to 26 tomorrow, and I will see you then.